had listened a lot of it, because I said like I'm man caught in the NFL as well as the Hall of Fame thing. But I was at work the other day, and I listened to, and when I got home, I had listened to Kenny Easley speaking, and as Kenny Easley said that infamous speech about Black Lives Matter, Black lives do matter and stuff, and it got so cried out there at that crowd and all that when he was speaking about all the accolades. You seen the white folks up there clapping their hands, all this stuff like that. But when he started, when Kenny Easley spoke on the real about about black people getting unarmed black people getting killed out here in the streets by racist cops, by racist white cracker thugs in badges and stuff like that, and he said black lives do matter. Now that it was so quiet out there, you could hear a rat pissing on cotton. That's how quiet it was out there. And then mysteriously the teleprompter went off. I tuned my antennas to listen to Kenny Easley. It was a reason why I liked him when he played, and now he's like that. Kenny Easley was that's a real black alpha male. And he didn't give zero fucks of what anybody thought about what he said on them. But see, it just goes to show you another faceted part of America KKK. They just show you that that melanated people they don't give a damn about. And that's what happens when you deal with these knuckle draggers with RH chromosomes in them. Well, after that, y'all know who this is right here. This is former San Diego Charger running back, former New York Jet running back, LaDainian Tomlinson. I love to watch LT when he played, when he ran, especially with the Chargers. He made the Chargers relevant, along with Sean Merriman and that hell of a defense they had. But what he said at his Hall of Fame speech was just something that I couldn't really believe. And I watched a special from an NFL special where he was walking around part of Texas, or somewhere part of Texas. That's where he's from. He's originally from Rosebud, Texas, with a white guy who was showing him his ancestry, and it was just real funny and stupid to me, saying that these were the slave quarters. This is where your parents, grandparents, and great grandparents were, and he bought into that SWS's bunch of crock, saying that that his ancestors were slaves, nothing more prior to that. I mean, I've always said this about most of these professional athletes. They could be gifted with athletic abilities far beyond none. But when it comes down to intellect, I swear they slow like molasses. And common sense stupid. And then you talking about saying, he telling him on that special that, okay, well, a part of you is me and a part of me is you, something like that. But I want y'all to hear it, to watch this. This is LaDainian Tomlinson. Let me see if I can put it up. His Hall of Fame speech. It's not the whole thing, but it's like 6 minutes and 18 seconds long. But I'm going to just go ahead and let this play, and I'm going to come back with my commentary.
On earth, and this is my final speech. This is the message I'll leave with you. The story of a man I never met. My great-great-great-grandfather George. 170 years ago, George was brought here in chains on a slave ship from West Africa. His last name, Tomlinson, was given to him by the man who owned him. Tomlinson was the slave on his last name. What extraordinary courage it must have taken for him to rebuild his life after the life he was born to was stolen. How did he reclaim his identity, his dignity? when he had no freedom to choose for himself. I grew up on the land of a former slave plantation. And although I didn't know this as a child, it is where my great-great-great-grandfather tilled the soil. A few years ago, I visited that same plantation in Central Texas with my family and stood in the slave quarters where he lived. It's now named Tomlinson Hill. My name began with the man who owned my great-great-great-grandfather. Now, it's proudly carried by me, my children, my extended family. People stop me on the street because they know me as LT, the football player. But after football, people have begun to recognize me as LaDainian Tomlinson. Not simply for what I did as a football player, but for who I am as a man. The family legacy that began in such a cruel way has given birth to generations of successful, caring Tomlinsons. I firmly believe that God chose me to help bring two races together under one last name, Tomlinson. I'm a mixed race, and I represent America. My story is America's story. All our ancestors, unless we're American Indian, came from another country, another culture. Football is a microcosm of America. All races, religions, and creeds living, playing, competing side by side. When you are part of a team, you understand your teammates, their strengths and weaknesses, and work together toward the same goal to win a championship. In this context, I advocate we become Team America. In sports, we're evaluated on our desire, ability, and given a chance to compete. America is the land of opportunity. Let's not slam the door on those who may look or sound different from us. Rather, let's open it wide for those who believe in themselves, that anything is possible, and are willing to compete and take whatever risk necessary to work hard to succeed. I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame because my athletic ability created an opportunity for me to excel in the sport I love. When we open the door for others to compete, we fulfill the promise of one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. On America's team, let's not choose to be against one another. Let's choose to be for one another. My great-great-great-grandfather had no choice. We have one. I pray we dedicate ourselves to be the best team we can be, working and living together, representing the highest ideals of mankind, leading the way for all nations to follow. One of the most eloquent orators of our time said it best in his farewell address. Paraphrasing and humbly building upon what President Obama said, we all have to try harder. Show up, dive in, and stay at it. I am asking you to believe in your ability to bring about change, to hold fast to the faith and the idea whispered by slaves. Yes, we can. Thank you very much. Thank you for this honor. God bless you.
All right. Now, a lot of miscues that I've seen in them. A lot of miscues that I've seen in that LaDainian Tomlinson. So, he gonna go ahead and be proud of carrying the last name of a person, or should I say thing, that owned his great-great-great-grandfather as property. Like I said a while back, our people suffer from a lack of knowledge of self, and more importantly, self-worth. And they don't see themselves as a value. That, that they took on the fact of just being so Europeanized, that's the only identity that they can identify with. And okay, he also said too that a lot of us is mixed with something, mixed with another race or whatever, unless you American Indian. Wow. Okay, American Indian. If he referring to Native American, see, this is where where people go ahead and go to college and they feel like they don't need to stop studying. Because if he knew Indian is nothing but a code word, because that's a code word. Indian is reference to the people or peoples of Southeast Asia, where Nepal and Bengal and Sri Lanka, that's in India. Okay? They should be called Indian. So he's been totally subconsciously indoctrinated, believing that his ancestry began as being chattel property. I guess running through all them tacklers of defensive linemen and linebackers and DBs must have created some type of incognito comatose type amnesia or something. This is why when I made my second channel up, as you see the description was about, that nationality is order of the day. And this is a perfect example of not only that, not knowing who he is, but then here you got somebody, great running back, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking nothing away from LT. But the point of the matter is, he loved his massa too much. Suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. And once again, and I hate to go ahead and I hate to bring up the colorism thing, which I don't like to do. But damn it, I got to do it. It's always the brothers my complexion. That's out here shucking and jiving and cooning and all that. Shoot, saying you of a mixed race, you represent America. Well, let me ask you this, LaDainian Tomlinson. Have you did a DNA test with AfricanAncestry.com? I'm just saying. I mean, to go and bootlick and buck dance like what he just did on there, I just lost respect for you, bruh. I've totally lost respect for you on that. And he came on there right after Kenny Easley made his speech about Black Lives Do Matter. But Damian Thomason, man, I don't know. These guys, him, Ray Lewis, and a lot of these other, right, all these other jokers, they just need to, man, I don't know. They need to have several seats after this. They need to have several seats after this, man. You know, this is just, that was just like, I just stayed quiet on that with that. You know, and he said at the end, liberty and justice for all. Oh, okay. Liberty and justice for all. Okay, LaDamia, can you explain that to what happened to Trayvon Martin? Can you explain that what happened to James Byrd down in East Texas? Can you explain that to Michael Brown? Can you explain that to Jordan Davis? Can you explain that to Walter Scott? Can you explain that to, I said Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, Sandra Bland, who also died down there in Texas after a traffic stop by that cracker in Cena and his pet coon, Prairie View piglet, Penny Goody, piglet and bedwench as well. Can you explain that? No, you can't. Because, I mean, boy, look here. He went all in and stuff to just try to go ahead and get that buttermilk biscuit, ain't you? Jesus. I mean, I'm pretty sure even Jim Brown was looking at LaDamien Thomason sideways. Kenny Easley couldn't even look at him. I mean, just totally in love with Massa. See, these are the type of cats, man. They just, you know. This is why one of the reasons I never hold these guys up in really in high regard. People like this, you know. He could have easily talked about using the platform for social justice. Nah, it's just subliminally you begging white supremacists, can we all get along? Can we all just go ahead and have a campfire and cook some s'mores singing Kumbaya motherfucking y'all? I'm just at a loss for words right now. You know. All this just so you can get you a yellow blazer and be inducted into some BS building. A lot of these cats gonna realize, man, that shit ain't gonna mean a damn thing afterwards. Well, the only thing I got to say to you, LaDamien Thomason, man, you know, since you like massive buttermilk biscuits so damn much and all that, I just hope it was well worth it. You know, enjoy your buttermilk biscuit, LT.